10. And for the briefing today, I'm joined by Cornelia Meyer, Chief Executive of the business consultancy MRL Corporation. Good to see you, Cornelia.
Good morning.
And this is something we discuss in the business briefing all the time when corporate leaders come in, CEOs, etc. We talk about sustainability, we talk about their plans when it comes to climate, and many are having to be very upfront about this now, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, the world has changed. You know, and at the COP25, at the Paris Agreement in 2015, 4 years ago, 200 countries agreed that greenhouse gas emissions or CO2 emissions shouldn't go, or climate warming shouldn't be above 2 degrees above the pre-industrial levels. We've now come to 1.5 degrees because we have seen sort of the climate emergency with more hurricanes, stronger hurricanes, wildfires, floods, and so on. But it has really garnered momentum, and I think when Donald Trump decided, as the only country to leave the Paris Agreement, which will be activated next year, that really also brought another sort of big emphasis on it. And you see how the young have reacted. You see Greta Thunberg. You see the European Parliament has just announced a climate emergency. You see the new head of the EU Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. That's one of her big topics. It's one of the big topics of Christine Lagarde. The head of the Bank of England, Mark Carney, will become the UN financial envoy for climate change. So it really has garnered enormous momentum.
It has indeed. Christine Lagarde, of course, now in charge of the European Central Bank, and she, as you said, has made it a sort of central pillar in her thinking in going forward. It's something we're looking at in detail on BBC Online, as well as this summit gets underway in Madrid, and all the recent evidence that's come out of of organisations like the UN, etc. recently, the World Meteorological Society, all point to the fact that actually the situation is getting worse, not better.
Yeah,
despite
absolutely.
everybody's efforts. So actually there is more pressure on government, more pressure on business leaders than ever before to make significant change.
Absolutely, and I think what's new in the debate is that they bring more prominence to finance. You know, you had the sustainability people who have been going on about this for about 20 years, but this has really garnered momentum that people say, okay, we shouldn't finance polluting industries. You saw, for instance, that the European Investment Bank, the EIB, which is a lender of last resort, as a multilateral bank, said they will not finance oil, gas or coal, any fossil fuels. The EBRD, the European Bank for Reconstruction Development, thinks along the same lines.
All right. Well, we shall unpack this a little bit further later on in the news briefing. We have a lot to discuss then. Cornelia will be back soon.